Losing weight and being healthier are on the top of everyone's to-do list. Despite the best intentions, work, kids, and social obligations often push lifestyle changes to the bottom of the list. While many people are familiar with type 2 diabetes, few are aware of prediabetes, a serious health condition that often leads to type 2 diabetes. People with prediabetes have a higher than normal blood glucose level, but not high enough yet to be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. 86 million Americans, that's 1 in 3, have prediabetes, maybe even you. Talk with your doctor, get tested, know your numbers.
I want to be a ballerina.
My hopes and dreams for Layla are that, she does whatever she wants in life. Layla was misdiagnosed 3 times.
Go ahead and wipe your finger.
138.
138. Very good.
She became really lethargic one day, and so her sugar was almost 700 by the time we got her to the hospital. The doctor told us that if we had not brought her in when we did, that she would have been gone in a couple days.
All right, are you ready to call Daddy?
Yeah.
My husband's in the military. He's in the reserves.
Hey, Daddy.
He's also an OR nurse at the VA hospital. And so I do most of Layla's care on my own.
I don't want yogurt.
Well, we have a lot of carbs for this meal, and so we need to have some protein.
You have to carb count, you have to weigh food, check sugar, all of that. People don't understand that type 1 is an autoimmune disease. Her pancreas does not produce the insulin needed to live. The Omnipod is the pump she uses. It's tubeless. We have to change that every 3 days.
Well done. She's worried about you. What are we waiting for? Cried the lion.
Nighttime is the worst. I live in fear every time I lay my head down, wondering if Layla will wake to see another day.
If I should die before I wake, it's really, really hard. I don't wish this on anyone. Your life revolves around keeping your child alive. She went through scent impression training, and so each glucose number has a different smell. Jubilee is trained on Layla's scent.
She alerts Mama so she can tell Mama if I am high or low.
She's also gone and fetched the meter.
You, good girl. Good meter.
Seeing Layla go through what she does on a daily basis has made me want to be a stronger person for her and for myself. My goal is to not only be the best mom that I can be, but to educate and advocate in her honor.
They stole our hearts and inspired us to do more for diabetes.
We were able to raise funds for JDRF and also raise funds to give to Diabetes Camp as well.
Having Amy and Layla come to our district meetings to speak, it made a positive impact on a lot of clubs.
As Lions, we're happy to help spread the word with Amy and Layla about diabetes.
I don't want diabetes to ever stop her. We want her to look at the world and know that she can take it on.
More than 30 million people have diabetes, and 1 in 3 of them don't know they have it. People with diabetes are twice as likely to have a stroke or a heart attack as people without diabetes, and at an earlier age. In the last 20 years, the number of adults diagnosed with diabetes has more than tripled. Diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death in the U.S. and causes more deaths each year than breast cancer and AIDS combined. Know your numbers, call your doctor, and get tested. Stop diabetes before it stops you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Diabetes Awareness Month kickoff of Edison Visionary Lions Club. Edison Visionary Lions Club is involved in promoting the awareness, education, and early detection of diabetes for several years now. To welcome you all, let me invite our club president, Lion Ricky Kishan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ricky Krishan. I'm the president of Edison Visionary Lions Club, and I believe it's very important and it's a great way to send out tips for diabetes when it is a very big epidemic going on with diabetes. Not only that, I have family members with diabetes. It would be great to hear from Mahesh and Kartika about some tips about diabetes. Back to you, Mahesh.
Thank you, Lion Ricky. The big question is why diabetes? Diabetes has been a pandemic for several years now, and the numbers are growing. It is said to be a silent killer, as in many people don't know the symptoms. They are not aware of the symptoms, and by the time that they are aware of their disease, sometimes it is too late. For that, the awareness is a very, very, very critical thing, and we are going to do just that today. We will have three segments for this. One is just giving you a little bit of information about what diabetes is. As Lion Ricky said, literally every household has one or two people who are diabetic. There will not be anybody who doesn't know someone who has diabetes. Everybody is affected by the disease as of today. But again, still, this particular disease is growing very, very rapidly. It is hurting several people all around the world with no discrimination, right from the young kids to elderly, the people with resources, people who don't have resources. Diabetes doesn't discriminate. It also doesn't discriminate with the it doesn't discriminate in the geographical areas. Every single area in the world is being affected by diabetes, and by 2045, in another 20-25 years, it's supposed to grow rapidly all around the world. As you see in the screen, the diabetes will grow, or projected to grow, by about 33% in North America, and to the extreme in Africa, it will grow by about 150%. That is an alarming number. So with that in mind, Lions Clubs International has adopted diabetes as one of the core programs of our association in 2017. And since then, or rather we were working on that before, but we formally adopted that program in 2017. Many might know that diabetes is a leading cause of blindness. And Lions have been working on protecting the vision since 1925, when Helen Keller challenged us to be the Knights of Blind. So diabetes is part of what we do for a long period of time, and we want to continue doing that and increase our effort so that we defy those numbers. We would have more prevention because of the awareness of the disease. As of 2019, that is when the last statistics were published by International Diabetes Federation. They do that every 2 years. This year it is delayed by the pandemic, but in 2019, 1 in 11 adults have been diagnosed with diabetes. And the scary statistics is 1 in 2 adults with diabetes, they don't know that they have diabetes. So it is a very, very alarming situation all around the world, in US, in Europe, in South America, in Asia, in Africa, everywhere. It is an alarming situation. For that, the International Diabetes Federation and several other organizations in the world decided to observe November as the Diabetes Awareness Month. And we are going to do just that. We would be creating awareness about this disease as a Lions Club all around our area and all over the world. That is the reason that we have this particular program today. And this would be followed by a weekly brief program of about 20 minutes to exercise, to do yoga, and very, very simple yoga. You will realize how easy it is. Sometimes we feel that yoga can be very, very complicated. But this particular stream of yoga that our past president Karthika is going to introduce you to, it is going to be very, very simple exercises that anybody can do. And then we can try to keep ourselves healthy and take the one number out of that statistics of people who have diabetes. What is diabetes? All of us know we eat to create that energy for us. What we eat, it is converted into glucose, and that is burnt into the energy. But while we doing that, we need an enzyme called insulin. Our pancreas create that, and it sort of converts the glucose into energy. What happens when you have diabetes? You have the less and less amount of alcohol, less amount of insulin that goes into your bloodstream, and that prevents glucose converting into energy. So glucose remains in your bloodstream, and your blood glucose level goes higher. Like as all of us on this show, none of us are medical doctors. We are coming to you as lay people. We want to talk in that language and sort of make you understand the importance of preventing and managing your diabetes. There are multiple types of diabetes, but let's focus on only 2 types today: type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is what if you joined earlier and if you were watching the countdown, the Layla story that we heard, she had type 1 diabetes, meaning her pancreas don't produce insulin at all. So that she need to be given the insulin externally. Exactly 100 years back, the insulin was invented, and those 100 years, the insulin have saved millions of lives, because now we can still treat the people whose pancreas don't produce any insulin. The type 2 diabetes is a little different. There are two reasons. One is either the pancreas don't produce enough insulin, or the insulin that is produced, it's the quality of the insulin, or the resistance from our cells to accept that insulin is a little higher, the quality is lower. So the insulin doesn't get processed, and we increase the blood sugar level. the sugar level in our blood. There are other types of diabetes, like pre-diabetic, those who have higher blood sugar level but not high enough to be diagnosed as a diabetic patient. We have gestational diabetes, where when a woman is pregnant, she goes through that diabetes in few cases. But as I mentioned, like, we are going to talk more about the type 1 and type 2, or rather we'll be focusing more on type 2 diabetes today. What are the causes of type 2 diabetes? One, there are genetic factors. You're born with it. It is into your family. If your parents, your uncles, your grandparents, your siblings have diabetes, there is a possibility that you might have it. That is one of the risk factors that you have for diabetes. Obesity. Obesity is responsible for diabetes in many cases. There is a misconception, there is a myth that, like, if you are heavy, you have a very, very high chance of having diabetes. It is partially true, but at the same time, you are not obese. That doesn't mean that you won't have diabetes. I was never overweight, but I was diagnosed with diabetes about 7 years back. So everybody needs to be concerned about this disease. But at the same time, obesity is one extra factor that you need to consider. Stress. I'm going to focus on this a little later in the program today. Many of us didn't understand this, but because of our lockdowns and COVID and staying at home, the stress levels of each one of us has increased dramatically. And stresses at work, stresses at home increase the possibility of having diabetes. Unhealthy eating habits. Since this disease directly deals with the sugar that is produced and consumed. If you keep eating a lot more carbs, a lot more sugars, you have a larger potential that your body won't be able to handle the amount of carbs, the amount of sugars that are digested into your system. Lack of exercise or inactivity is another reason for diabetes. One of the reasons that everybody is talking about, one of the major reasons for increasing these numbers of diabetes in and around the world, is twofold. One is the processed food, that the increased consumption of processed food, as well as because of the world had changed, the lack of exercise, and like sort of sitting at your desk and doing or like sitting on your couch and after you come back from work, just being a couch potato, also attributes to the onset of diabetes. Age. We cannot do anything with that. Like, we are meant to grow as we grow older. And that also, the age also sometimes be a factor in having type 2 diabetes. When I said, like, sort of diabetes is a silent killer, it is a silent disease, still some of the people have certain symptoms that you can observe for. And if you feel that, like, sort of there is something wrong with your body, suddenly you should be checking whether you have high blood sugar levels and whether you are pre-diabetic, diabetic, and so on. Some of the known symptoms are the frequent urination, especially at night. You have to wake up multiple times to go to the bathroom. That is one symptom. Excessive thirst. You feel like drinking water all the time. You consume more water than what you usually do. Extreme hunger. You always feel hungry because the body still needs energy. And even if you have sugar, like your brain sends signals that like, oh, you need sugar, more sugar, and then you feel like eating more. You feel weak. There is a lot of fatigue. When I was diagnosed, this was the symptom. When I used to come back home, I didn't even feel like going upstairs in the bedroom to sleep. I used to sit in the living room just relaxing because I felt very, very weak when I came back home. Some of the people feel that like their extremities, their fingers, their toes, their feet, they feel some kind of pinch, something like a needle punching into their skin. That is one of the symptoms. I talked to several people with diabetes, but I did not find too many who had that symptom before they were diagnosed. But this is still a major symptom. Blurry vision. Sometimes when you wake up, sometimes when you eat a heavy lunch, heavy dinner, your vision goes a little blurry. That is a clear signal that like you might have the higher blood sugar levels or low blood sugar levels, and then the vision grows blurry. Itchy skin. Sometimes your skin gets very, very dry. It starts itching. That is also one of the symptoms of diabetes. The wounds that won't heal is really, really a big symptom for diabetes. Like if it is taking more time than usual to heal a scratch or a wound, it is really necessary for you to go to a doctor and see whether you don't have anything besides just an infection or something like that. And the last but not least is volatile moods. You have a lot of mood swings. You get angry suddenly. You get upset all of a sudden. That is a symptom of the fluctuation in your blood sugar levels. So please watch for those symptoms and go to the doctor. Sometimes you may not have diabetes, but you would be a pre-diabetic. How would you know that? You have to take some certain blood tests. There are 4 types of tests that are usually conducted. One is with the fasting plasma glucose, which is taken with starvation, like starving for about 12 hours. Like you have to fast for about 12 hours. And then with a glucometer, you take the a droplet of blood and check the blood sugar levels. Sometimes the medical professional prescribe you to have a oral glucose tolerance test. So they take your fasting blood glucose, and in a short period of time, in an hour or 2 hours, they ask you to drink glucose water and check how your insulin is functioning, whether your blood glucose level, how higher it goes within a short period of time. Then A1C test, which is the test that many of the medical professionals trust. It is the hemoglobin test. It counts the amount of the glucose accumulated over your hemoglobin. And it basically means that like you have an average of about like 3 months time, the ups and downs of your blood sugar level in those 3 months, you can count using this A1C test. And the random plasma glucose test, sometimes like sort of you're not able to take your blood test right in the morning. You may not be able to go to a doctor and take that test. So anytime during the day, you can take the plasma glucose test, blood glucose test, and figure out whether your blood sugar level is beyond a particular limit, so that the doctor can prescribe you a A1C test. So when we know all this, when you know that like whether you are diabetic or not, you can take certain steps. The theme for this year is small steps for big difference from the International Diabetes Foundation. It talks about 6 small steps for the people to manage the diabetes, but these are the same steps that you can have for preventing diabetes also. The first step is take small steps. Okay, like if you might find out, or somebody might suggest that like sort of you have high risk for having diabetes because of your lifestyle, because of the food habits and so on. Don't change that dramatically. Take one small step at a time, change your habits, and go to the nicer lifestyle, better, healthier lifestyle. That, like, if you take small steps, you have a better chance of continuing with that. Otherwise, sometimes like sort of you take like a major step, and then after a couple of weeks that you just stop doing that and go back to your previous habits. Move more. That is what like Karthika is going to talk about today. Choose the healthier foods. The simple choices that we make about our food make a big difference. Lose weight. This is for the people who are heavier, who have higher BMI. They should be losing weight to make sure that either you prevent diabetes or manage your diabetes. And if you feel that like you have some risk factors, or if you have any symptoms, seek medical support. Don't try to do some home remedies to get your sugar down. Get your blood test done and make sure that your doctor gives you a right advice. And this is one particular thing that I have to enter in. If you read the news, one of the underlying factors for fatalities for COVID was diabetes. Because of the lower immunity, the people with uncontrolled diabetes have higher chance of getting affected fatally by various diseases, including COVID. So get vaccinated. Even if sometimes you feel that like, oh, okay, I can deal with it. It's better not to just deal with it. You have to get vaccinated. The next step is like sort of, there are easy ways to lower your blood sugar levels naturally. You have to manage your carb intake, carb and sugar intake. You have to manage your carb and sugar intake. Increase the fiber intake in your food. Drink water and stay hydrated all the time. You have to consume at least 6 to 8 glasses of water every day. If you don't do that right now, please make sure that you increase your water consumption and stay hydrated all the time. Implement portion control. We will talk about that a little later. Choose food with low glycemic index, the foods which have got low sugar in that particular food. Manage stress levels. Monitor your blood sugar level. Get enough quality sleep. Eat food rich with chromium and magnesium. Again, we will talk about food a little later in the presentation. But with that, let me bring in our next speaker, Karthika Gupta. Karthika is a past president of Edison Visionary Lions Club. She is very, very involved in Lions for last 10 years. She is the office manager for our state office, Lions State Office, as well as she's a yoga instructor. So today we have her here, not with any other role, but a yoga instructor. And she will be able to give us more insights into what you can do to make sure that you are healthy. So here is Karthika. Karthika, welcome to the show.
Hello, namaste everyone. Hello, welcome to the show. My name is Lion Karthika Gupta. As Mahesh introduced me, I have been a Lion for over 10 years now, and I'm a certified yoga instructor, and working with people to maintain a healthy lifestyle is my passion. I do it for myself, and I always talk to other people to include some kind of physical activity in their lifestyle to deal with these issues, specifically issues related to diabetes, your gut, your entire well-being depends on how active you are. And people ask me all the time, why yoga? Why not any other form of exercise? And I tell them any form of exercise is good. Why specifically yoga? Is because yoga is one form of exercise which gives you multifold of benefits. Just by keeping you active, you can walk, you can run. But there are certain people who have joint issues, who cannot walk, who cannot run, who cannot do jumping jacks or push ups or burpees and things like that. Yoga is a form of exercise which is for everyone, no matter what fitness level you are at. So it's easy on your joints. It's customizable if you have bad joints, if you have low mobility, if you are not able to venture out of the house. Yoga is for you. Yoga is for everyone. So I promote yoga all the time because of the ease with which you can carry this little activity with you. You don't need a lot of space, you don't need a lot of equipment. Some of the exercises are so simple that you can just do them in your bed as well. So it's a very easy form. And as Mahesh was showing in his presentation, the factors like stress and a sedentary lifestyle contribute greatly towards diabetes. And yoga is a perfect way to deal with all of that. It not only reduces your stress, it enhances sleep. And yoga is not just exercise, yoga is mindfulness, yoga is meditation, yoga is breathing, pranayams. Pranayams are a great tool to encourage your body to function, to connect with itself, to increase the flow of oxygen and blood to your digestive organs and other glands, which make you healthier. Be it your pancreas, be it your digestive organs like your stomach, your intestines. Pranayams are a great way to get them going if they are not working properly. So in today's presentation, we will be focusing on 5 very simple asanas, which anybody can do. They are a very beginner level asanas. You don't need any props. If you have something, I will guide you through how to use them, but you don't need any props. You don't need any special equipment. You don't need any prior experience. We'll just walk through, and at the end of those 5 asanas or 5 exercises, I will guide you through a very, very simple but very effective pranayam, which is great. You can do it anywhere early in the morning before going to bed. That relieves stress, that helps you sleep, that helps you calm down, and it's great overall for your health. So we can start by looking at our first pose or first asana, which is called the half fish pose or the Ardha Masendra Asana. And Mahesh, can we get that video? Can we pause the video before it starts right at the very beginning, please? So Ardha Masendra Asana, can you pause it right here before we go any further? If you look at the video, right here, I'm sitting in a pose called Dand Asana or a staff pose. It looks like a very simple pose. I'm just sitting with my legs out in front and my hands to my side. But whenever you start working, please make sure that this asana is something which you perfect. Your back should be straight. You are not letting go of your body. You are active, you are engaged, you are focused. Just sit here, take a few breaths in and out. There is no rush to start doing the exercises. Connect to your body, connect to your soul, and just be here for 3 to 4 breaths before we start. So just Dand Asana or staff pose right here. You will see this in a couple of more exercises as well. So make sure that you connect to yourself, start breathing. And once you are settled in, you find your grounding, you feel that you're settled, you're not thinking about anything else, we go forward and start our first exercise. Easy name, half fish pose. This is a very beginner version of half fish pose. As you grow in your practice, there are various other ways to do this, but we will for now concentrate on the beginner version. So we can play the video here. So we start by taking our right leg and crossing it over our left. We inhale, take our left arm up and put it on our right knee. The right hand goes behind you and you give your body a very, very gentle twist. You come back, uncross, and come back to your Dandasana. We do it on the other side. The left leg crosses, inhale, and twist. Take your twist a little deeper. This asana is great to simulate your pancreas, the way your lower body is twisting. Mahesh, can we pause the video right before we start the next one? Thank you. So this pose is great to simulate your pancreas, and if the pancreas are not producing enough insulin, repetition of this pose over a few weeks will make your pancreas a little more effective in producing insulin. So we can play the video, look at the pose one more time, the half fish pose. So keep breathing, and every time you twist, I would strongly recommend to hold this twist for at least 30 seconds. Keep your back straight and your core engaged, a little pressure on your abdominal, very mild pressure. And you will see this pose doing wonders for you if you practice this regularly. Just one caution, please make sure that you practice all these poses on an empty stomach, either early in the morning or at least a couple of hours after you eat. Don't do it with a full stomach. You will feel nauseous or it will not go well with your body. So make sure these poses are done on an empty stomach. So again, you see I'm sitting in Dandasana or staff pose with the entire body engaged. My toes are pointing up. So we can move on to the next pose, which we will start from the same pose, sitting in Dandasana, a very, very simple pose called the forward. We can play the video. We start sitting in Dandasana, and as we inhale, we slowly take our arms up. Again, if you see, I'm catching my breath, holding off, take your arms up and fold forward. Try and touch your toes. If you can, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay as well. You can hold on to your shins, your legs. As you saw just now, I bent my knees a little bit and I put my head right on my knees. That is a great way to put a little more pressure around your digestive organs, on your pancreas. And inhale and rise up and take a breath in and out. So again, in this pose, don't push yourself that you have to bend down a lot. It's not about how far you can go. Bend your knees, bring your head towards your knees. You don't have to have completely straight legs. Just make sure that you're feeling right amount of pressure on your abdominals, simulating the pancreas. And we can move on to the next asana. For the next one, we call it, in a very, very fun-loving way, the cat and cow. It's basically a combination of two asanas, the cat and the cow pose, which we do in tandem with each other. So for here, if you have knee issues, Mahesh, can we pause the video for a minute, please? Thank you. Here, we start right here in tabletop pose. Our fingers are spread wide, our knees are on the mat, we are on all our fours. If you have knee issues, just a little warning here, this asana can be a little tricky on the knees. If you have knee issues, please put a folded blanket or a folded towel under your knees. That will give you a great cushion. Your knees will not get hurt. So please keep that in mind. We start from our tabletop pose And Mahesh, we can play the video. So we inhale, we look up, we open up our chest, and there is a very slight back bend. And as we exhale, we push our chin towards our chest and round our back. So we inhale and we look up, and we exhale, round and contract. So this pose is a counteractive pose. We do it like an expansion right here in the cow pose and contraction of our abdominals right here in the cat pose. So these two counteractions, expansion and contraction, work in a simulation like yin and yang, and two opposite forces which are working on our abdominals to expand and contract, which increases our body's absorption of glucose, the food which we process. So please make sure that you do this exercise, easily called cat and cow pose, at least 10 times. You inhale, you come in cow pose, look up, find an expansion, and as you exhale, you round, you contract, your back is curved, your abdominals are pushed in. So again, a great pose, very easy pose. Just word of caution, please use a blanket under your knees if you have knee issues. We can move on to our next pose, which is Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. That pose, we start lying down right on our bellies. Mahesh, can we pause right here before we start the video? So if you see here, the toes are pointed back. That means your feet are engaged. Your belly is pressing onto the mat. If you feel putting your belly directly on the mat is a little bit too much for you, you can use the same blanket and fold it and put it right under your belly, not under your chest, under your belly and your pelvic area. That will give you a little bit of support and a little bit of cushion. The entire prognosis or the entire aim of this asana is to put some gentle pressure on your abdominals while opening up your chest to increase the flow of oxygen in your body. So as we play the video, I will explain what we are doing here. So we can play the video from now, from here. So we inhale and we lift our chest up only till our belly button. We are not going any further. Our pelvis muscles are still on the mat. We exhale and we come down. So this was our Cobra pose. We are adding a little twist here for our pancreas. So we inhale, we come in Cobra, but look over one of our shoulders, and we exhale and we go down and release. We inhale, we rise up one more time, look over our other shoulder, a little very gentle twist, exhale and release. So we always inhale and expand, come to Cobra, hold your breath here, and we slowly exhale and come all the way down. We can see the twist one more time. We look over one shoulder as we inhale, and we exhale and we lower down on the mat. Inhale, rise up, gentle twist, and we exhale slowly and release all the way down to the mat. So Bhujang Asana or Cobra pose with a little bit of modification, a very gentle twist, great for digestion. The better your digestion, the more carbs and more protein you're going to digest, less issues with diabetes, and very basic beginner asana anybody can do. Again, word of caution, to be done on empty stomach, not on a full stomach. Going to our last and final pose, which is like the easiest pose of all. It's great for stress relief, great for falling asleep, and great for improving your diet. We are going to Bal Asana, or simply called child's pose, and we all love that. because it gives you such a great release of all your stresses, all your negative energies. As we say, you release everything to Mother Earth. So you come and sit in Vajrasana. You are basically sitting, as you see here, right between your heels. Your knees are touching. If your knees so close together is not comfortable for your knees, you can spread your knees a little farther apart. I will strongly advise not to go too far. Even if you are a pro yoga person, please keep your knees closer together in this pose, specifically if you're targeting our pancreas and our digestive organs. So we can play the video and see how to do this simple Bal Asana, child's pose, a simple asana yet very, very effective. Back straight here. We inhale, we take our arms up. And as you exhale, exhaling is really, really important here. We fold down, bring our head to the mat, hands right in front of us. If you feel the mat is too far away for your head, please make sure you have a pillow or a block or the same blanket you have been using. Just fold it and put it under your head. To rise up, walk your hands back straight, come to sit. Let's see that one more time. Inhale and arms up, and let go of all the air from your belly. Exhale and fold all the way down. Breathe here. Don't hold your breath. The more inhales and exhales, normal inhales and exhales you do here, the better the pose will work for you. And when you have to rise up, make sure you take a big inhale before rising up and let it go when you come to sit. You can keep your eyes closed. You can just focus on your breathing for a few breaths here. A very simple, effective, beginner-friendly pose, which you can do even in your bed. Before going to bed, this will help you sleep. This will help you elevate any stress you're feeling. Let go of your day, let go of the negative feelings. A great way to counter stress. These 5 poses need to be done in this particular order and multiple times, probably 3 to 5 times. So this will give you around a 15-20 minute of a very gentle exercise, but still works on your full body. And before we close, I want to show you a very, very simple breathing exercise called deep belly breaths, which you can do first thing in the morning before you get out of the bed, or last thing before you sleep, right in your bed, or after these sets of exercises. Just lie down on your mat, close your eyes, and we will do belly breathing. I will show you a video which focuses right there, deep belly breathing. For deep belly breathing, you lie down flat on your back, no stress. Put both your hands on your belly. If you see right here, Amesh, can we pause the video for a second? If you see right here, my feet are touching each other. The soles of my feet are touching each other. Right here, I'm in bound angle pose or butterfly legs. You don't have to do this if this does not feel comfortable for you. Your legs can be stretched out like you are lying down in Shavasana. If you are comfortable, these butterfly legs will give you an added stretch, added work on your abdominal muscles, making them stronger, making them work less hard. So the choice is yours. You want to take your feet in butterfly legs or keep them straight. Please make your own decision. If you're a beginner, I would strongly advise you to keep your legs straight. And as your practice grows, you can bring the legs in butterfly legs. We can start the video now. So for deep belly breathing, put both your hands on your belly, and as you inhale, see your belly rise up like a balloon, and exhale, feel that balloon deflate. So if you can see here, the belly rises and becomes really big. The purpose of this breathing right here is to get more oxygen and more blood flowing into this digestive area. The more oxygen goes there, the easier it is for your blood to process the food you're putting into your body. So inhale, rise up, exhale, let all the air go out. We will see this demonstration one more time with legs straight. And again, a tip here, please make your inhales and exhales equally long. You can count for a count of 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and inhale. And at the same pace, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and slowly exhale. Keep the length of your inhales and exhales equally long and make sure your belly expands and contracts as you breathe in and breathe out. Deep belly breathing, a very, very simple form of pranayam. You can do it in your bed, first thing in the morning, it will energize you, and last thing in the morning, last thing in the evening, it will help you sleep, let go of all the stress. So make this a routine. These are very basic asanas. As we go forward, as Mahesh said, we will be doing this throughout November. I will walk you through some variations of these asanas and a little more challenging asanas, which you can make a part of your daily practice. So 15 minutes a day is all you need, nothing crazy. And if you're up for it, if you're doing these practices in the morning and you have time, I strongly encourage you to go take a walk, even if it is a 10-minute walk in the house or outside the house, weather permitting. Just go take yourself out for a 5 to 10-minute walk, and you will see a whole lot of difference in your overall health and with time in your diabetes numbers as well. So that's all from me. I hope you like this. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Back to you, Mahesh. Thank you so much.
Yeah, they can write the questions into the chat plane on Facebook or YouTube, which we can answer right away, or you can reach out to either one of us, and we will be able to address to your queries. Having said that, as I mentioned earlier, both of us are not medical professionals. This is the experiences that we had in life that we are sharing with you. So before doing anything, please consult with your medical professional before we go further. And as Lion Kartika mentioned, she would be doing a more personalized yoga program for all Wednesdays in month of November. That will be on Zoom, so there would be more of an interactive factor to it. And more than that, you can do yoga when Kartika is also doing the yoga live rather than having a video. So that is what we have from Edison Visionary Lions Club coming up in November. The dates are November 3rd, November 10th, November 17th, and November 24th. Kartika, do you want them to have any specific things for joining that particular session?
If you're joining a session, just make sure you have a fairly open space where you can sit, stand, and move around. A yoga mat, if not a yoga mat, maybe a non-slipping surface like a carpet or a rug. Yoga mat is highly advisable. If you have a yoga block, it's great. If you don't have a yoga block, just bring a pillow, a blanket. That's all we need. No special equipment required. If you don't have any of these, that's fine as well. We will provide modifications. So just show up. That's it.
Thank you so much, Kartika. It gives us a perspective on how easy it could be to spend some time and make sure that we have the exercise that we need to be healthy. So let me get back to the discussions that we were having before Kartika presented her part of the exercise routine, the yoga routine. Let me share the screen again. So when we left we were on this screen, and it talked about, besides the exercise, it talks about other things that we can do to prevent diabetes or manage our diabetes. It talked about food, it talked about stress levels, it talked about general healthy lifestyle. I mentioned that we will talk about the stress level a little more in detail for a reason. These days, because of the changed lifestyle that we have since March of 2020, almost sort of a year and a half now, we hear a lot of issues with the anxiety, depression, and many mental health issues. We have a tendency to deny. We are always in denial about mental health because there is a taboo attached to it. We feel that oh, you are depressed means there is sort of something wrong with you. Just like our body, our mind also is healthy and unhealthy at times, and we need to take care of that. So we don't even understand sometimes how to know whether we have anxiety, whether we have depression. I'm going to talk a little bit really quickly about depression because that has got significance to diabetes. The diabetes risk is increased by 1.5 to 2 times if you are going through a depression. On the other side, the people with diabetes have a higher rate of reoccurrence of depression. So they are sort of interrelated. I don't think there is any research, formal research on that, but this is the observation that people have. The depression increases the risk of developing complications and in diabetic patients, and vice versa. Diabetes complicates the increased risk of depression. So while we're working on preventing diabetes or managing our diabetes, we also need to look at the symptoms for depression. And if you feel that you are into clinical depression, you need to get that treated as soon as you can so that you can treat your diabetes better. Quickly going over the symptoms. What are the symptoms of depression? Sadness, sudden sadness. Everything is going on well in your life, but you start feeling sad. Helplessness or feeling powerless, or sometimes losing interest in everything. The things that you always used to like, you just lose interest in that. Something like you used to like to watch movies. Now you just feel that oh, let go. And that is one of the signs of depression. And lack of energy. You don't feel like getting out of bed. And you are in bed and you can't fall, you're not sleepy. You cannot sleep. You suffer from insomnia. At a higher level, you have suicidal thoughts. You feel that sort of why I'm still alive, why I'm still here. Restlessness. You always feel that there's something going wrong. Even if everything is okay there, you start feeling that restlessness. And one of the other symptoms is losing the appetite. You don't feel hungry. So if you have any one of these symptoms, okay, please reach out to others. The thing is, many times when we are depressed, we don't feel like sharing that. Sometimes the people don't understand that. That is why you tend not to share it with people. Sometimes it is suggested that sort of you should not be talking about your depression with the people who are not professionally trained to treat depression. But whichever is suitable for you, if possible, mental health professional, talk to them and work on your depression so that if that is the case, if you are in depression, that affects your diabetes also. Let's get back to diabetes. We talked about portion control. not only just the amount of food that we eat, what is the portion of each one of the ingredients that we are consuming also is critical. This plate on the screen sort of shows how the portion should be controlled. You need to have a good quantity of fruits and vegetables in your food. When we say less carbs, you still need carbs. You cannot like sort of eliminate carbs completely. You still need to have bread, rice, or other starchy foods into your meal. You should have proteins, good amount of proteins. You should have some dairy products if you are not lactose intolerant, that is. You need to have fats or other sugar items at a smaller level, but you do need that in your diet. So make sure that like you have the portions well managed portions in each of your meals, each of your day. I'm not going to go through the details of what should be in those plates for a simple reason that every culture has a different food habits. Every person has different food habits. So some people will eat rice. Some people will eat bread. Some people have meat in their meals. Some people can get plant-based proteins. So like I'm not going to go into the details, but I'm just going to be a little more generic on that. The most important part of this is to manage your meal properly. If you need more information, we have just posted a link into the chat box from our last diabetes symposium about type 2 diabetes, and where we had Lion Anju Puri from Old Bridge Visionary Lions Club and the Rutgers team had talked about the South Asian diet. So please take a look at that so that you would know the way that you can handle your diet. There are some food that helps you in reducing your blood sugar. Again, caution, don't self-treat yourself. Make sure that like you consult with your healthcare professional before trying any one of these. Apple cider vinegar is supposed to reduce your blood sugar level. Anything bitter, anything little sour is supposed to reduce the blood sugar levels. Anything with fiber like barley helps you reduce the blood sugar. Barley not in beers. Alcohol is counterproductive to what we do. And the more than that, we need the fiber portion of barley. Aloe vera, cinnamon, they are also proven to reduce the blood sugar levels. Fenugreek seeds, gymnema, this is an Indian herb that helps in reducing and managing the blood sugar. And there is this cactus in Mexico called nopal, which is also reduces the blood sugar levels. There are a couple of things that I want to quickly cover. We are closing on our top of the hour, but I'm just going to go over quickly because this is very, very important to understand the low blood sugar level symptoms and high blood sugar level symptoms, especially low blood sugar, because it might be fatal. Shaking, you start shaking, you start sweating. There is an anxiety, dizziness, hunger. Your heart starts beating faster. Impaired vision, things start looking fuzzy. You have extreme weakness. You have fatigue. You don't feel like getting up. You start having headaches. So if you have any of these symptoms or many of these symptoms combined, please make sure that you go and check your blood sugar right away. I have gone through this a couple of times, and I know that how how heartful it can be, how it can change your day within a moment. So please make sure that like you understand the symptoms of low blood sugar. Also, you need to understand the symptoms of high blood sugar levels. You feel extremely tired, just like low blood sugar. Your mouth gets dry. You feel extremely thirsty. You start feeling a little drowsy. You have an urge to go and urinate. And those are the symptoms that you need to think about if you have diabetic or you suddenly start feeling a combination of these symptoms. With that, let's close today's session. Thank you all for joining us today. And continuing with this particular series from next week, we will have Kartika. I will have Kartika again on the screen, and we will have our president Ricky also on the screen. Ricky, Kartika, if you want to add some things, please add. Both of you are muted, by the way.
Stay healthy, stay moving, practice yoga, and focus on your breathing as well. That's all. Have a good night. It was lovely talking to all of you.
Thank you, Mahesh and Kartika. It was very informative information that you both provided, especially for people that might not know the symptoms and the signs for diabetes. It was great knowledge to have. And also, thank you, Kartika, for showing some of those yoga poses, which I might incorporate in my daily life as well.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. And I hope everybody gained some knowledge that they didn't have before from this program. And looking forward to continue with the next programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kartika and Ricky, for joining. Kartika, thank you so much for all your knowledge and helping us out. Let's keep doing that, and we'll make sure that we make a little bit of difference in some lives and make sure that like we prevent diabetes and manage the diabetes with the people who have diabetes. Make it a very, very good night, everybody, and see you next Wednesday on Zoom. For that, you need to register so that we can send you the Zoom link. Thank you so much.
Good night. Bye, everyone.
Good night.